Hello, so iteration number 4, we actually started the conversion now that we have both lists. So here is our plan. So we finished iteration 1, 2, and 3, and now we implement the conversion, and this will be the last iteration in the required part. In iteration 5 and 6, both are optional. So following the problem formulation, we understand the problem when we did the research in earlier iteration, so we move to the scope. The scope of this iteration is to actually do the conversion, so the user will need to enter an amount, select a unit to convert from, select a unit to convert to, click on the convert button. As a result, the app will perform the calculation and display the result to the user. How are we going to test this? We'll have some test data. We're going to use the feet to inch and the amount of 10 and ensure that the app produces the result in this format, 10 feet equal 120 inch. And we're going to use the same test for different the remaining units. So how are we going to formulate the solution? We're going to follow, number one, the model. So we need an amount. We need the unit to convert from and the unit to convert to. We're going to use the float and a string for the types as we discussed before. For the formula, we're going to use the two-step conversion. Convert from the unit from to the inch, then take back from the inch to the unit the user wants to convert to. So first, we're going to figure out what the user selected to convert from, multiply that by the conversion factor to an inch. Then we're going to take the result and divide it by the conversion factor to the unit 2. And that will give us the final conversion. Some work will need to be done on the view. We're going to need to add an instance of a new component. We're using it for the first time, Uitextfield. And this is a component that allows the user to enter a line of text. So the challenge part here is that the user will enter the numbers, but these numbers will be text. Add an instance of UI button for the user to click when it is ready to convert, and then the instance of a label to display the result. We're going to need to connect all of these as outlets so we can retrieve, we can manage the data, but the button we're going to connect it as an action to create a new function. For the controller, we're going to implement a conversion function, convert function, and this function will be connected as an action, as a user interface action or interface builder action to the button. When the user clicks the button, the operating system will notify this function, and then following steps will be done. First, we're going to need to retrieve the amount from the text box, the text field. Be careful because the amount we retrieve from the text field will be retrieved as text, as a string. So we're going to have to convert that from a string to a number. So we're going to need to convert from a string to a float. And we're going to introduce two new numbers, two new classes, NS number and NS number formatter, in order to make that conversion. Then we're going to need to retrieve the unit from and the unit to from the two picker views. And also notice that the picker view cannot tell you what title is there in any of its rows because it doesn't know that. It's the data source, it's the delegate that knows what's the actual title. But the picker view knows what the index of the row that got selected. So we're going to have to retrieve the index of the row that got selected, then go to the delegate, which is the controller, and get the title from the keys array at that particular index. Kind of a reverse to what we did when we used the title for row function in previous iteration. Then after we figure out the unit from as a string, the unit to, and the amount, we apply the two-step conversion and format the result as a string and assign the result to the label. Solution implementation, we will follow these steps, add the instance of the different components and set the different properties associated with it, then connect the text field instance, the label instance, the two picker view instances to the controller as outlets, and connect the button instance to the controller to create a new action function called convert. and then run the app and implement the steps that we defined here in the conversion function, and then run the app and test the result, and that will conclude iteration number 4.